So today we have first BigD leaderboard over life versus a team name that might have been invented at the last minute. ASDASDASD or Asda, the popular supermarket chain in the UK. If you're an American, that is Walmart. But otherwise, I'm not sure they're sponsored by them or anything, so that's not confirmed. But otherwise, we're going to be going pretty much into this game right now because they've been waiting for us quite patiently. What do we know anything about this red team? If you were, and I think you know, you were talking about the names in the team. I know pretty much all these guys.
Yeah,
but
you'll recognise most of the names, and one of the names that you don't recognise is Amy Guard anyway. So it's a star-studded lineup that's been created out of thin air, perhaps.
yeah, most likely. That's not happened before. That happens. It happened yesterday randomly.
Yeah, it happened yesterday, exactly.
Jesus, that was an interesting one. Yeah. So
everyone trying to mix things around a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's that whole thing of like, you know, leaderboard over life have been together for a while, and then these guys have just come together at the last minute. Go and ready. Sorry. Actually saying that they can go pretty much whenever they want because they have been waiting very patiently because this has gone a bit earlier, and we wanted to cast this game. And Divok kind of was like, yeah, start it now. Okay, cool, let's go. Let's just do this. Let's do it now. Okay, so what I'm going to do while they're readying it up, I'm going to quickly go over the red team, and if we've got time, Divok's going to go over the blue. Otherwise, we will go into the blue in the next game. But first of all, we're going to go with Prototype, and I have missed him. I have missed him very much because he is one of my favourite Necros because he is a beast. His positioning is awesome. The way he plays the build is normally awesome, but he doesn't normally play Power Necro, which I believe this is the build. He's going for Rune of the Pack. He's going for the Berserker's Amulet, fairly standard. Going for the Dagger in the main hand and the Warhorn in the offhand. Then it's going for pretty much standard traits, really, and utilities. Oh no, utilities-wise, not really. He's not going for any wells there. So he's not actually going for the standard. You know, you normally put the wells down, but he's kind of the master of positioning, like I said. You know, Spectral Walk's good. He'll use that to really kind of juke people in. Summon Fleshworm, we saw another power of a Necro using that quite recently. Sometimes effective, but if he gets bursted down and he's got some conditions on him, he'll use that and he may die. But I don't know. He's a bit of a different player. He's a special case, Mr. Prototype, and I mean that in a very, very positive, complimentary way. Of course, Lich Form, fairly standard as well. We are going to go over Artful Panda. I'm going to go through these builds very quickly, guys, as well, so apologies about that. He's gone into the Executioner kind of area here, but he's not gone for the trait. He's gone for Hidden Killer there, so gain bonus.
And he's also running Rune of the Scholar.
Yeah, Scholar is the... Nick said this yesterday, funnily enough. The Scholar rune is more sustained. You know what you're going to get. You know what you're getting with the damage because you've not got that Fury proc. So it's really good. It was used to be used a lot. It was this Zerkers or... No, sorry. This pack or... God, I can't remember. At the moment, it's Vampirism, I guess, because Kazu's played that yesterday, which I'm still a little bit... not sure about really on the Vampirism. It feels like it takes a bit too much damage away, but I'm not sure. But obviously increases your survivability. So he's going DP, of course, and yeah, I mean Hidden Killer. What do you reckon about that? It's just critical chance increased by 100% on Artful Panda, the thief on the red team. It's kind of gone into the tree. But yeah.
It does take away from other traits that you can take there. But I mean, he is also running Hide in Shadows, which does again take away from Withdraw. So
yeah,
he's going very, very aggressive with this. He wants that sort of first hit to be the last hit.
Yeah.
He is there to take you down in seconds and then get the hell out of dodge.
It is a lot of damage. I mean, I haven't really tested that Hidden Killer trait. Thief is the thing I'm probably one of the classes I'm the most weak on. So... that's going to be interesting in itself. So we'll have to try and get in this perspective and see how well that actually goes for him. Knights we've seen recently as well. God, I've seen this guy on so many teams in the last week. I don't know what main team he's on anymore. So tonight he's on ASDA. He's playing Dagger Elementalist. And he's gone for the Rune of Vampirism. Now, That's actually not something I've tested either. Now I'm assuming that because all the other classes can use their F1 skills when the mist form comes up, that he can as well. So for the Elementalist,
yeah, I'm pretty sure Elementalist can attune.
That's going to be ridiculous because, and I've been thinking this for a while, why aren't any Elementalists trying this out? Because they can switch with their attunements when they're in mist form, give protection, healing, swiftness, whatever they want to give out, and might. And that's going to be quite nice, because when they come out of that, they'll have some cooldowns up, and they'll be able to survive ridiculously well. So he's going to be the tanky guy on this team. Even though, okay, it's got the power and everything as well, that's going to add a certain amount of tankiness to it. Tiki, probably playing Shout by Warrior. Yes, he is. He's gone for the Fear Me instead of On My Mark. Lower cooldown, of course, also going for the Battle Standard. Fairly standard build. And then we're going to go over to Argineer, who's going to also play with the Rune of Vampirism. Where the good lord is he? Okay.
I have no idea.
I've not been there before.
Somewhere that you can reach with jump shot, probably.
Wow, okay, that's a new place. He's going for 60062. He's not going for tools into tools with 4 to get the power wrench cooldowns, and he's not going for leg mods either, so he's actually go full in into alchemy for a bit more survival on that degree. But we are going to go through the splits, and Mr. Divok is going to go through those splits for us today.
So we see quite a big movement by the blue team here towards the mine. In fact, they're going to have 3 members stealth up all together here. They're going to look for this first opening, and on the opposite team, it's going to be up to Artful Panda, like we said, to go for that counter initiate and get the big opening up. As we see him jump straight on top of mid, bursting down Knight. He's going to have to get away. Of course, he does have that Vampirism rune, so that's giving him plenty of time to re-engage and find a new space. As we see the counter engage coming out from red now, putting plenty of pressure onto Arzi, and he's forced to run away as quickly as he possibly can.
Indeed, I'm aware that there might be some lag on the stream. That has just literally been sorted out as Divok just did the entry there into the map. So apologies for that if you're getting it, but it will be sorted out very shortly. So going over to the waterfall now, we have got Knight versus Sakuraz over on this point. We have Sakuraz is playing Elementalist. Yeah, there we go. And so they're going to be 1v1ing for a little bit of time. So I'm actually going to stick onto the Guardian of this side now. Dirty Yana. That name, awesome. Waiting to think about an engage, but actually isn't going to go on the point. So he's going to go towards the far node. Now, a little bit of hesitation there, but the reason is because they've actually got the node over here anyway. Artful Panda is going to get up. He's going to go back over towards mid as well. Probably back that up with Tiki, and could come in surprisingly against Dirty Yana here, and also Zuik if he should choose to. But that's not going to happen. They're actually going to continue over towards the quarry. Now, Artful Panda has gone down here as well. So, and Arjun just gets put into the mower as well. And Frostball gets taken down. Was he taken down by the mower?
Auto attacks coming out from Artful Panda more than the mower of Arjun here. But yeah, Artful Panda managed to self-res there. Went for a bit of an aggressive move. Tried to finish off Frostball. Didn't. He left Frostball on about 1,000 health, I think. And then Frostball turned around with a beautiful shatter, and then followed up with the mower on top of Argineer, so that Argineer couldn't get the res. And ended up dropping.
It's that second ability on the mower. It's way overpowered. They need to nerf that. But anyway.
And now this is steamrolled over to mid. Tiki's fallen as well. That Mesmer and Thief, and DPS Guardian, Pain Train rather, is just rolling across this whole map, killing everything in sight very, very quickly.
Yeah, we are going to see Prototype here caught in a bit of a situation, kind of tunneling himself into that area as well. He probably actually escaped there using Flesh Mail. I didn't actually see what cooldown he used to get up there. Tiki still is in the down state. He's been there for quite a while. Mid-fight should be Blues really at the moment, with 3 people off the map for the red team. Like we said, they're kind of new as well together, I guess. I haven't really seen these guys play together too much, and like we've also been talking about, a few of these guys have been on various different teams as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can come back into this map, and just trying to get the caps wise. But we did have 1 apiece, but we've seen the decap of Sakuraz over on the waterfall, just because it could happen, because you know they've lost 3 people on the node, so they can actually move ahead. But the thing is now the prototype's coming into this point as well, and it's going to be a 2v1. There's no one here to help.
Yeah, and Sakuraz is going to be able to hold for a little bit. Saying that, there's your Rune of Scholar and your 100% crit chance from stealth. Artful Panda bursting Sakuraz down with 1 fatal backstab, and it's going to leave Prototype to clean that up and claim the point. Now moving on to mid, There aren't too many low targets here for him to go on. There's plenty of low targets for him to protect though, so he's going to have to try and create some space in order for Knight to get out, who's already used his Vamp Rune. So if he gets one more hit on, he is a goner. But he doesn't get kited away. He does get the Mind Stab off there, and Knight's going to go into the down state. But he immediately banned up, so this fight is going to be back to even Stevens here.
Yeah, we got some nice survivability coming out, but Knight has actually been... There you go, there's the Vamp Rune coming out there as well. But he didn't have any achievements on cooldown, so he didn't benefit too much from that. And Ozzy is just going to jump back onto the back of him, take him out, and he's going to go into the down state as well. And we are going to see Dirty Yana just planting that ring of warding around his body, so no one for the red team coming for the res. Gets knocked back as well. Tiki, nice job from Dirty Yana there, nice positioning as well. And Tiki is likely to fall as well, going into the down state. Nice wiping out from the blue team. Again, another significant team wipe, but now they need to think about going over to that waterfall, going to get the decap, but that's where Prototype's going to start positioning himself. They need to defend the node they have, because this map is so easy to start the snowball.
Yeah, and just a quick mention there, Frostball was the sort of the unsung hero of that fight. The entire time I didn't see his health go above 2,000, and he was still getting kill after kill after kill, eventually falling, but managing to get rezzed up after everyone was fine. Now he's actually going to portal back to mid. Now, maybe expecting some aggression, but there's in fact just a regroup coming out from Asda's, so they're not going to be... maybe a wasted portal, but at least it got him out of that trap there.
Yeah, I think he was just thinking about, just try and, use that big cooldown as well and get it back as soon as possible. At least I've used it for something. I actually saw him playing yesterday.
Sneaky decap, really nice CC there, and then using the slick shoes to make sure they can't get back on point until he gets back up. Fantastic use of the engineer CC there. I don't think I've seen anyone pull it off quite so poetically against two players as well, so very well played by him to get the mine point. It's actually going to be a 2-cap in their favour for the first time in this match.
Nice, good job. Blue team are starting to regroup now. They're probably pushing out from mid over towards the waterfall. We are going to see Frostball actually going to go right through Tiki. He's going to come back and initiate some kind of shatter though. Tiki just goes back onto the node. Zuik there as well for support on points. Frostball can focus on the damage. They're actually going to take him off node here and knock him back. A good job from the combination there of the Elementalist and also the Mesmer. We're going to see the team fight backed up here by, oh god, we've got Tiki, we've got Knight, two bunkery characters. They should be able to hold this point for quite a while. Zuik is very good at holding a node contested, of course, but at the moment it's not in their favour. They need to get a decap here quite fast, and it's probably not the two guys to do it against. We have seen two downs coming out across the map though. The Prototype got up in the end, as we did see Sakaras taken out of the fight there, and also we just see a few different members of blue team. Doesn't feel very solid here. They went for the defense, for the attack over on the waterfall, but mid was just left in this kind of state of nothingness.
Yeah, they left two of their pain train here to defend it, and it was kind of like a chain of thieves. I think the blue thief jumped in on the enemy Necro, and then the red thief jumped on top of him, immediately bringing him down, and then it was just a fight that was already lost, that the DPS crew from BigD were trying to win, and they eventually didn't. They all went down, and they've lost this point now, and they may have won the waterfall, or at least may eventually win the waterfall, but they've lost half their pain train, and they've lost this point as well.
Even Artful Panda was trying to get the cheeky decap there, going past Zuik. That's a good effort, to be fair. Good effort. So we are waiting for some people to get back into the map. Just having a look at Tiki as he starts to respawn now. And we are going to go back over towards mid, going into the perspective of the Prototype, who's just building up some defense. He's going to probably initiate onto... Oh no, he's actually going to go back and watch Arzi trying to get that decap, which he successfully did over on the quarry. It's a good job. And that's going to bring him back into the game. Only 30 points or so difference at the moment, so it's still pretty tight. It's not really settled too much as well. We've got Sakaras sitting at the top over on the mid, just looking for... He's probably looking to come in and actually offer up some support as soon as people start to lose HP as well, so he doesn't want to actually get focused too hard himself, but really the focus is over on Knight now, and hopefully he's going to be able to survive this. But Diana going down himself as well. This is not looking good for the Blues.
Of course, Dirty Yana is that Zerk class, so he's going to take a lot more damage, and the banner comes out as well to secure Knight's revival there. So Knight's going to be absolutely fine, and it looks like red team are going to clean up on this point, as they're going to be known.
Yeah, it seems to
They do actually allow Arzi to get back up there. Arzi was in the down state. They could quite clearly see where they were rezzing him, although he himself was invisible. And not enough AoE cleave coming out from red team here. Of course, they do lack something like a DPS Guardian that has that fantastic cleave that we've seen so many times. As we do see the prototype go down to Zewick in a one-on-one over at Quarry. Not something that you would expect to go in prototype's favour here.
Okay guys, apologies, I have noticed that the stream is still lagging quite heavily, so I will restart after this game, but we are going to still keep going. This will be recorded and I will put it up on YouTube, so do not worry if you do want to watch it. I'm trying to sort out the issues as Divok's kind of talking and finding out what's going on, but at the moment there's not much I can do. We are in the fight. We're going to have a look at Knight, who's in downstate over on the waterfall at the moment, as he's trying to be taken out here by Sakuras. Our full Panda's going to come in behind. Is he going to be able to be in time? I'm not too sure. He has stealthed up and might try and come in for a little bit of burst here, or is he going to actually go for the sneaky decap? He's going to go for it actually, and that's a nice position for him to be in. And again, you know, blue team are losing some easy points here. They've got one node. They really need to take care of it. And they're actually doing well in these fights. They've taken out Tiki now as well. But are they going to be able to actually take advantage of this? Knight's respawning, so they can stretch across the map a little bit more. But the Thief is always, he's countering. It's a bit like 55 HP Monks, where, you know, they'll go for that third node if they start to lose some fights. Because they're losing more players, Argineer. But the thing is, he's just coming back and he's supporting the nodes they actually already have. So it's actually a really good job from the red team Thief looking for those decaps.
Yeah, meanwhile, like you said, the red team are just feeding this node. They're feeding the fight in mid. Sure, they're losing players, but they're not losing them quickly enough. Their support between one another is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. The combination of Knight's AoE pressure and the slick shoes from Argineer there managed to keep Argineer alive plenty long enough, and of course Knight's Vampirism runes are going to give him plenty of time to last long enough for Tiki to come back onto the node. So they're just feeding this node, and meanwhile, like you said, it's the Thief of Alpha Panda just creating havoc across the map, although he is down currently. Lost in a fight to Frostball and Zewick, I believe.
Yeah, he was on his own for a while over on that point, and it's not that no one really came over to support him either, so really, that's kind of a bit of a motivation from Red. But the thing is, they're actually getting pressured quite hard over on the mid as well. So that's probably a good reason as to why. And also losing members on the map, they couldn't back up those fights. So we're going to see the prototype trying to get an offensive over on the waterfall. But we are going to see Arzi and also Sakuras coming over as well. There's no one in range. He's going to die here. But he's very good at positioning. And just as I say that, I'll try not to talk about the prototype anymore because he's gone down. And that's just the way that happens. And now blue team have got a solid free cap. That is a comeback of anything. That is insane comeback, and there is no way that, you know, that's the toughest time to come back into the map. Your team has started to wipe. You've only got 4 men because the prototype's in a down position, and now you've got to retake a node because they can outnumber you easily because they've got 5 guys, you've got 4. It's just as easy as that.
Yeah, Frostball's looking at the midpoint here. He doesn't actually have portal, so he's not going to be able to help in the defense and hold mid. So they're just going to leave one member probably between the two, and they are. They've left Sakuras. He's just stood up on that high ground. He's going to defend 2 points by himself, and at most it's going to be a 4v4 over on this 9 point. If not, then it's going to be BigD with the favourable numbers, and they're already looking to put pressure right up on Knight. Knight goes down with that beautiful hammer number 2 from Jaina rather. He's not going to last too long. He's going to misform onto point to try and put an extra bit of pressure down and try and get the heal, but there's Arzi with the cleave. That's probably going to be Knight going down, and probably a couple of others if they try and go for the res. They do back off though, and they're going to have to look to regroup here because they're in a bit of a tricky spot here.
I was going to say, it was a nice regroup until Argineer, like Vampirism Room, really saved his life, to be fair. If that proc had already been used and that cooldown wasn't up, then he would have gone down as well, and there's no way they would have been able to do that. If I was red team, wouldn't have even gone to the quarry, would have just gone straight to Lord, because now they can, because prototypes respawn. But the thing is, now they're going to have to go without their Thief because he's actually out of the fight completely, and that's what they're going to do. It's actually going to be too late now as well. This is what they should have probably thought about, going for a bit of a stealth move up to the boss. They've got the Thief with the crazy ass damage. Why didn't they go for the Lord, people will say, and that's probably what they should have done. Unfortunately, they will lose out in this game. And we're going to be 1 up for a BigD.
Yeah, good job by the guys there. Of course, this is a brand new team, or at least we assume a brand new team coming out from Asda's, being put together. Yeah. So not too used to fighting with one another, but they are, like you say, we've seen a lot of these players on a lot of different teams. So they know of each other, they know of each other's play styles, and they certainly put up a grand fight. Like, they were winning until they hit 350 points. I think it was 300 to 350 at one point. They were doing outstandingly well, but then they kept feeding that one node for maybe a bit too long, to the point where they had 3 or 4 respawns at the same time, and like you said, that was just the 3-cap, the map wipe there, and that eventually handed the game over to BigD, who was going to take the first match of this best of 3 in the ESL Weekly Cup number 73, if my memory serves me correctly. We will be going on to Forest and Ifil Hell after Jebro resets the stream.
Yeah, I'm going to literally do that, and this is the wrong map.
Oh yes, it is. We will be going on to Temple and Silent Storm.
Temple, please. Wow, that's a completely different rotation. That hasn't been done yet, actually. So that was quite special. I was going to see the AFK screen on for a minute, guys. I'm going to just have a look at the connect. Might not need to reset it, but we'll be back very shortly. If the stream goes down and comes back up, do not fear, it shall return.
Stream back up. Their flag is blue. They did to annoy you apparently. Oh, is it?
Hello, everyone. Oh, good lord, that's the chat. No, that's... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That was the bad chat there. Oh, good lord. Oh, good lord. Oh, good lord. That's not good. But it's fine now. Okay, right. Let me just not panic. We will be back soon into the game, as something is going crazy with my Twitch at the moment. It's going crazy with my OBS. I'm on the cams now, and it was showing something else. And now we're going to go back into the game and be safe. And that was an interesting bit of information. But otherwise, we still have the two teams in the map at the moment. Looking forward to seeing Leaderboard Over Life versus ASDA. And apologise about my randomness today, as I have had a long day. And trying to sort this out at the last second and wondering what is going on with my ISP. I have no idea. But we will be going into this second game. How are you feeling, Divok? You're on top of things. How's it going with you?
Kind of. Due to lack of admin overwatching this game, I'm getting admin questions, and I am the furthest thing from an ESL admin, seeing as I've been working alongside you guys for maybe a month now. So I'm about to tear my hair out. But other than that, I'm great. And who needs hair anyway, am I right?
No one needs hair. No one in the world. Oh dear. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask these guys to ready up. I'm still kind of going a bit crazy from yesterday, because it was a good... we only had 4 teams in the end, but it was pretty epic. Chat's going well. Thank you for all coming in and watching, by the way. You're doing a great job. We had a big announcement. Well, we had a big announcement as well about Stronghold coming out next week for a day, which is going to be pretty epic. So some excitement in the chat about Stronghold. You can do it, because I'm excited. I'm pretty sure Divok's excited as well.
I've not been able to play this game at all yet. I am so psyched. I have so much work to do, but work can wait, because I have to finally play Stronghold.
Yeah, I literally took a day off work. I'm not going to lie. I took a day off work. Good man. Okay, so we're going to go over the blue team until they're ready up. And you can go through those guys, and I'll just use the camera and whatnot.
Yeah, and, sure, okay. Yeah. So we're missing out one of the players currently. Oh, Dirty Jane is back in. Okay, so we have all 5 now. We're going to start with Frostball, who is our Mesmer. We see him on many different kinds of Mesmer, but I'm pretty sure we only ever see him on Mesmer. Maybe he has 1 or 2 other classes. He's going to be playing the Sword Torch variety of the build. Nothing too strange here, using the kind of general trait setup that we've seen recently. Taking Masterful Reflection over the number 3 Companion Power, which has taken the pro scene, at least, by storm over the last, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks. There you got Sakuras on your Dagger Elementalist, Celestial, Holbeck Rune, same sort of things going on here. Of course, there is the Sigil of Geomancy, which has also taken the pro scene by storm, maybe in the last 1 or 2 weeks. So a bit of a recent change up there. But other than that, nothing new. Zuik, who is also going to be playing Dagger Elementalist, and is using Pack Runes instead of Holbeck Runes, but other than that is completely identical. And I'll be doing this very quickly as we're about to get the splits. RZ is going to be playing a Panic Strike Thief, Dagger Pistol rather, as per usual. And then we've got Dirty Jane on your Hammer, Scepter Focus, DPS Guardian with the usual trait splits.
Awesome. So we kind of got different runes there, Pack and also Holbrecht. So we got the more offensive. I'm still thinking like 2 Ellies is a little bit too much. Like, I'd like to see a shout bow or something like that, just with the extra res utility. Shout bow is almost something which you definitely need to have nowadays, but hey ho. We're actually going to see a stealth mix over on the mid there, just everyone crossing, and they're just going to flip nodes really early on. It's going to be all dependent on who can hold out really the best and the most. Are we actually going to see the cap happen over on the altar side? Temple isn't going to be capped. So there is a bug on the map at the moment, so there is a cap coming in for the blue team. That has been decapped though quite quickly from Tiki, so we only saw a couple of points coming in. But at the moment, Argineer, he is going to be in a downstate. Wow, that was a special camera angle that came in right there. That was a little bit of a bug. Sorry, we just went through the entire map randomly. I've never seen that before. We are going to see blue team picking up the far node, but they've lost the 2 caps in that cross as well. So it's not looking too good for blue at the moment. Early in the game's going to start to settle down now, but we are going to see blue team advancing over towards mid very quickly as the mower comes out over to the midpoint, over on Knight, and he's going to be taken low. And the point should be theirs, but we are going to see the prototype coming in there. Also Zuik from the side, didn't see him, and we're going to see him going into an early lich form there from the prototype, getting the stability and whatnot, but he's actually going to come out of it because he's going down. Not many people do that. They just get into the lich form. They just think, oh god, we've really got to keep up, keep the damage. But of course, when you're in that form, the only way you can be defensive is to kill people, and he's not really got any support there, and now he's going to go down himself, as well as Artful Panda.
But they do get the counter kill onto Frostborn. If they can finish this stomp, then, or at least get the kill, but it's not going to happen. Prototype does eventually go down, as he is Zerker, so he's not going to last too long in down state. We did see the banner also there on Knight to keep him up and keep the sustain of this team going, but it hasn't been to too much avail. They've lost their DPS now. They really have to sort of try and find some damage between these 3 otherwise bunkery classes.
It's quite even that points flipped kind of quickly, but we've got the contestation on it still, and the points are quite close. It's going to be the reason I like this map, and the reason I kind of suggested it as part of this rotation, is the fact that it can really bring out a different tactic, and also I was hoping that we would see some mixing comps as well. The Knight is going to go down over on the midpoint as well. He's kind of line of sight by the rest of his team. He's going to misform inside that Shadow Refuge. A nice movement there, as we are going to see potentially the res of Knight. Tiki comes in. He's not going to be stealth though, but Knight is. So that's a great res from the red team. Good job.
Well, they do lose a couple of ticks on that cap on the mid node here. They had it 1 tick away from it being theirs, and that was really forcing Zuik to play in a very defensive manner over the point. He had to sort of double dodge on and off just to dodge 1 skill. And they are actually now going to lose it because he's run out of a lot of his defensive utilities, and Frostball is getting chased down. But they have backup here. They've got Dirty Jaina, and she is training down on top of Arginia, who is forced to use that Vampirism Rune just to back off. Will be able to get that back up though, and the support from Knight should be able to heal him up plenty so that he can re-engage here.
He's pushing forward. He's been quite aggressive there. I think Knight out position, really bit overcommittal, which means the rest of his team are going to have to push back with him. He's able to use that. He was able to use that Rhino Lightning as well to get out of harm's way. They did actually, in the case of that mid fight, lose the cap over on the temple, but we did see the recap happening of the altar. So now the teams have both of their respawn points. Arginia is in the down, well, has been taken out of the game completely. But we're seeing stillness. We're actually going to see Dirty Jaina pick that up rather than thinking about going for the res over on Zuik, who's not that far away.
Zuik
he is,
could have
of
used
course,
that portal as well. I'm pretty sure.
Did he just come up through the portal, or?
No, the portal was placed by Frostball for him to come through. And Frostball went through as if to res him, and either Zuik had already used Mistform and hadn't confirmed that with Frostball, or he just decided to die and go and respawn.
Maybe it was, you know, I was going to say maybe he's trying to fool someone, but I'm not sure why. But, hey ho,
fool us maybe.
We'll go into the rest of the game and see what's going down over here. We're going to see the prototype just going to stick into his perspective and see how much trouble he's having here. He's had to go into Death Shroud now to mitigate a little bit of damage because he's got both the DPS characters on him. Necro is so tough to play when you're going up against some like high tier players. Well, even if you're just playing it generally, it's a hard build to play, but. You know, they're not giving him any room. They can't, because if he gets into lich form, he can really just wipe face on any node if they're on a team fight, and it can do such a great job. But now we're going to see Sakurai's quite low over on the midpoint. He's going to have to try and get out of here as soon as possible, although they've got some nice damage over onto Artful Panda there, so he can re-engage, although he's still quite low himself, so he needs to be careful. Artful does get put in out of this game, as well as Tiki there. Red Team again losing quite a lot of people.
Yeah, that was a very, very good move from BigD here. They brought the Artful Panda down very, very low very quickly, and then before he was even in the down state, they mowed Tiki. They knew that banner would come out the second that Artful Panda went down, so they mowed him, CC'd him, made sure they got the clean kill on Artful Panda, and then went to finishing off Tiki. And another thing you said about the power necro, how it's very, very difficult to play. This is also a triple pain train. This isn't your usual standard double pain train. There are 3 of them. This is going to hurt even harder than it should.
That's exactly why, you know, they just lose. If they lose one of them, you know, it's very quickly to just roll off that kill onto the next person, because likelihood is that they're losing that team fight in the first place, and they've already got some nice cleave off to the rest of the guys. Our full Panda's going to go down there. Our engineer can, our engineer can get the res quite easily though, so not following up on that. And we are going to see the buffs coming out in another 30 seconds. We go into Dirty Jaina perspective here over on, sorry, Knight's perspective. He does have our Dirty Jaina actually targeted, but still not too bad for you guys. We're going to see Frostball going to the downstate just towards the altar there. Just needs to be careful that it doesn't overextend, which is potentially what just happened. Sakura is actually going to have to pull back, because if he does go further up there, he's probably going to die himself, and he's going to go back to mid, defend the only node that they have. And we will most likely see the blue team start to do that, but they also need to be aware of the buff down below where Argineer is currently situated.
Yeah, they've started to lose a couple of players. Maybe they were going on the hunt for a kill before the buffs, but they've actually ended up losing a couple of players before the buffs. So they really have to be mindful of that they are down a player. They're fighting with 1v1 on both of these nodes, but of course on this lower node, it's a DPS Guardian against an Engineer, which, if the DPS Guardian gets off a perfect burst, might be able to win it, but he's already backing off, and Dirty Jane is going to call it a day there, and he's going to leave Argineer to get this cap. Of course, he's probably communicated that with his team, and there's someone on the way already. But Argineer might be able to just get the 3-cap. No, Dirty Jane is coming back in. It's not going to make it that easy for him.
He's definitely not going to leave it. He doesn't want to give it to him, but he just wants to keep his distance. He's being very, very careful. The only thing that Argineer can really do is pull him in and just, you know, start to get his burst. If he does that, Dirty Jaina knows that if he gets close, he's probably going to kill him. But also, you know, for an Engineer, Guardian, if you time that burst quite well, it's really painful, but you can still do some nice CC yourself. If we go into Engineer's perspective, his 6 users actually on cooldown, actually off cooldown at the moment, so he needs to wait for that. So see, there you go, there's the pull and the plant the grenades, and Dirty Jaina knows what to do, you know, dodging out of that big burst that comes out from the Engineer. But now those two are really doing the good job. They need to just hold there. That's all they're going to do. That's all they can do.
Yeah, and meanwhile, with the extra +1 that Red Team had, instead of +1ing this fight down on Tranquility, they instead just went for the 2-cap and managed to get a decap on Tempo as well. That was then cleaned up by Arzi in a brilliant 1v1 Thief movement. He still had Bazzi off cooldown and Arthur Panda didn't, so that kind of gave him the edge there. He cleaned up and has finished off that cap for them, and they managed to get the decap on mid, but that's going to go straight back over to the hands of Red. So Red, instead of putting more on Tranquility, have actually gone just for the map domination, and they've taken the 2-cap. Although saying that, there is now a +1 down here, and Dirty Jaina is in a lot of trouble.
That's a really good move from the Red team, but the thing is, because they've overcommitted over on the top, we've seen some kills coming out. Tiki in the downstate, the prototype is down as well. If they do get that flip at the moment, they can retake the map completely fine. It's not going to happen though, because we're actually going to see someone else coming down. Sakuraz is actually going to come down as well, and in all honesty, maybe it might have just been useful for them to just back out and keep the extra member, because, and don't try and res Arzi. I just don't think that's going to be a great thing for them to do, to be honest. I think he should have just stayed up top, let them cap the node, and then just get the full recap.
Yeah, he had plenty of mobility over them as well.
Yeah, because, you know, they were in position. They had 2 guys out of the whole map. If they'd done it on that timing, they could have literally taken the whole map and ended that fight and come back into the game, controlled or tried to control the 3 points, and then waiting for that stillness, which is coming up in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, we've been fighting so long on Tranquility. We do have the second stillness, as you say, coming up very shortly. Red Team have lost their map dominance. They did send, I believe it was Knight over to Temple to get the decap and full cap, even though he left mid completely open, while they lost Tiki on that close node, which, actually, no, we do see the Tranquility finally get taken.
That is definitely the game for sure. That's going to be a strong lead to finish off the game, especially going for those 3 points, unless we see something miracle happen. Knight's been able to take the temple out. There's no one near there, so there's definitely going to hold on to that node. Mid, Tiki's there standing over the dead corpse of Zuik, so we can assume that that's definitely going to be their node. Arzi's over on the altar. They know what's going to happen. And we're going to go into a third map here. Awesome stuff in the first game.
Yeah, and I'm pretty glad about this as well, especially since we didn't have any heats to bring you guys. Of course, we don't usually bring you heats, but people were kind of sad that it was going to be a bit of a short tournament. So we are going to have 3 matches here. We are going to be going over to Forest of Hell this time. I won't be incorrect in saying that, I believe, unless it's changed again.
Well, actually, it's going to be Courtyard. No, I'm joking.
Don't
I
put me
do
through
want
that.
I want to do a tournament with Courtyard in it, but that's a secret.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's not anymore. Oh, yeah.
Nah, it was a secret. You heard it here first, folks.
Stronghold.
And we're going to see how this triple pain train deals with the somewhat very vertical terrain that is Kylo. Of course, they have a lot of blinks. Even DPS Guardians can move across terrain pretty nicely, but they don't have enough people to spread between all of the points, as they kind of had issues with last game. Of course, they had to send that DPS Guardian to 1v1 against someone who should be able to win 1v1s on Tranquility, because there is that extra objective. Now here you do have the Trebuchet, which won't necessarily be bunkered down by anyone. It's more likely just going to be the Thieves. And that could, of course, benefit BigD, because if they lose their Thief to... because he's trebbing, they still have 2 DPS characters on their side to dish out the damage, whereas if Thief from Asda's goes away, then all they have is a Power Necro, and they are very easy, like you said, to just train down, put pressure on, and they have to act very defensively if that happens to them.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, going for that 3 DPS team. God, it's weird. Nick really likes the 3 DPS as well, and you're just talking about the 3 DPS. It's odd. It's like you're the same person. Are you him? The English version? It just reminded me. I've casted with 3 different people in the last week. It's been very, very random. But it's 4. Oh my god.
4, yeah, as well.
Jesus.
Jebro's getting around, guys.
I'm getting around. I am a slut. It's terrible. Hey ho. Anyway, gonna hopefully ask these guys to ready up as soon as possible. Thank God we're on my extreme, eh? Couldn't say that on the Guild Wars 2 one. But anyway, we are looking forward to getting into this next game of the ESL Weekly Cup number 73. This is going to be the 3rd map of the semi-final between Asda and BigD. Hoping they're going to come up with a team name, because I really don't want to call them Asda anymore. Because it's just too weird.
And of course, the winner of this will go on to face Red Team in the final, who managed to knock out Your Goose's Cooked Salt, who I believe were at yesterday's tournament.
Yes, they were.
I assume they should have been.
They didn't do too badly either, actually.
They've been in this scene for a while. They've actually started to improve an awful lot over the last weeks. And this week, new team turns up and knocks them out in the first round. And apparently quite quickly too. So...
Oh god, okay. I just looked at the players. Amsterdam.
Oh, what, on Red Team?
Yeah, Amsterdam, Curve, Napzor, Renner, Sven. Can't remember who Sven is. I have to remind myself of that. But yeah, oh, that's quite a lot of nice players actually on that team. Oh, that is so good to see some of those names. Napzor is like one of... I don't know, used to be one of the people I followed a lot when I wasn't a caster. Engineer-wise, he's really good. But we are going to talk about this game, and we can talk about those guys when we get to it. But there is some nice names on that team, so it's going to be nice in the final. It's actually quite nice to just see some different people for once as well.
Yeah, we don't have any of the sort of quote-unquote Big 4 or Big 3 as they are now in the EU scene in this tournament at all. We've got BigD, we have Asda's, and we have this Red Team as well. None of which have appeared to be too much of a threat. But all of them putting up very good fights. I mean, these 2 teams seem to be pretty neck and neck. One team winning one team winning the other map, and both by a comfortable margin. So they can dominate maps. It's not like they are perfectly matched skill for skill, and it's going down to the wire. They are both perfectly capable of winning a fight very effectively. And then of course Red Team, who we didn't sadly get to see, knocking out Your Goose's Cooked, who, as we all know, is a very difficult team to knock out, because their comp is very, very difficult to play against. You just kind of sort of have to play your own strategy and try and win your own strategy, because you can't really counter comp a team that have... do they have 4 Celestials, or is it 3 Celestials and a Cleric? I forget. Either way, a very difficult team to defeat.
Just to note as well, guys, that, well, it's some great stuff there, and I was listening, but the thing is just as you were talking about Kylo, and you started just talking you a little bit, I was like, I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be on Forest right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I've just instructed the guys to actually move the map, and that's what's taking a little bit of time. So apologies, guys, about that. Been casting the same rotation, well, you know, since last Thursday, I guess, and quite a few casts, and my head is scrambled today. So I do apologise for me being a little bit all over the shop. But hey ho.
And the only thing I've cashed in the last few weeks has been a 2v2 in Courtyard. So, I mean, I'm living Jebro's dream, and Jebro's head is in the clouds somewhere.
Oh, here we go. It's just on the map rotation. Oh, he's got to switch. Someone's got to switch an account to do it. Okay, so fair enough. We are just going to have to wait, and we will be joining you on the Forest in the final game. Hope you guys are well. Hope you're all good. Let's just sort our engine chat. No, don't talk about that. Okay, we're going to go back into our. We're going to go back into cams for a second. Just wait for this to switch up.
Yeah, beautiful faces.
Yeah, sure, why not? Whoa, that table is wobbly as. Anyway, so Forest.
Legacy of the
Jesus. And the problem, the thing is as well, is that they're giving the map rotation. It's not difficult to put in the arena. No wonder I'm getting confused. There you go. It's not my fault. Blame past, buck past. It's all good. Yeah, hope you guys are well in chat. Who do you think is going to win, actually? Do hashtag Asda or hashtag BigD, depending on who you think is going to win. We did see a bit of a stronger performance coming out from Asda. I really think the rotation and the way they chose how to split on the Tranquility kind of stillness buffs kind of paid off for them as well in the end. But they actually did okay. They did die quite a lot as well. I'm kind of surprised that a BigD didn't take that in the end. I do think they made a bit of a mistake when they kind of dedicated so much of their resources to try and res RZ down in the bottom buff when he went down as well. I just thought, just let them flip it because they've got deaths on the map as well. They'll be wasting their time. They've still got to get up from that. If you just split across the map and get the points, you could probably be okay. But that wasn't the decision they had in that map. But hey ho. And it was actually.
I think what you said right at the beginning there sort of sums up these two teams, that Asda's were much better at the splitting initially for things like the buffs, but of course they're running your standard 2 Pain Train and your 3 Celestials, whereas BigD were much better at wiping over the board, but maybe spread a little bit too thin. And I think that's partly down just to the composition. I mean, they've got 2 Elementalists who are their only Celestials, their only people that should be able to hold 1v1 to a very high standard. And then they've got 3 DPSs who can stand 1v1 for a short period of time, but require quite a fast rotation. And of course, DD Elementalists aren't necessarily the fastest rotators unless they have that fiery Great Sword ready and available.
Yeah, it's true. Getting a little bit of swiftness here and there and everything in the light, but like you said, it's good for one kind of reaction and one kind of burst of speed to get to a point so it's not decapped. But yeah, like you said, constant mobility wise. I mean, at least they kind of had that mesmer. There was when you picked up the portal as well, so there's some miscommunication there from Blue as well in that last game. If using that portal, who was it went down? Was it Zuik? And he was going to go through the portal?
I think it was Sakuras, or at least either way, both Elemental. I did notice it happened again later on in that fight.
Oh, really? Okay.
The other Elementalist did it as well. So, but misplays coming out from both teams because during that game, and he's not in the game. Tiki, of course. Tiki went to banner. I believe it was Knight, who was on the smallest smidgen of health. And Knight probably should have said, you know what, don't bother because I'm going to bleed out before you get the banner done. And he did bleed out, and the banner went down. So misplays are actually coming out from both these teams, and of course they don't have as much experience as some of the teams that we're used to watching with one another.
Yeah.
As well as just with the scene in general, because those top players have been with top teams for quite a while, they've had plenty of experience in this scene for quite a while, and so mistakes are bound to happen, especially in this sort of game, where you've got 2 teams that are quite equally matched, as we've said, coming up against each other, both running quite different comps. They have to think on their feet an awful lot to try and sort of outmaneuver and outfight and outwill each other.
Especially on a map which isn't in the regular rotation as well. That really sticks the knife in, doesn't it? Here you go, have some of this. The map that you probably don't practice that much in tournaments, or will not get the opportunity to really play that much in tournaments as well. So we are waiting for these guys to ready up. Everyone's in the map. Let's ask these guys to go again. And there's my job done. But otherwise, guys, thank you for joining us for the ESL Weekly Cup. This is the semi-final. We're only going through one semi-final. We're going to hit the final. Like Divox said earlier, Red Team, which is their name, have gone through to the final round, and we're just waiting to see who's going to join them in this last game. Most probably, if you have just joined and you're thinking, what is going on? Why are we on Forest and it's the final game? Has Jebro lost it completely? No, that happened earlier. I've regained it since then. And it's basically, it's a different rotation for the Weekly Cup. This has been happening for about 4 weeks now, 4 or 5 weeks. And it's nice. I like it because there's different plays, and you saw a good example, actually, quite a good example of how the other team can actually kind of come into the game again on just a different map with different rotations and different places. Because, you know, on this map there's also, you know, 5 potential spots where you can be, and we've got that on Temple. You know, there's the 5 potential places. We're not talking about ferocity, because ferocity is not something which would come. I'm not saying it's completely useless, but it's not something which is likely to be taken. Okay,
it's something you do if you're waiting for a regroup, or if you know that the enemy are not around whatsoever and you're looking over mid or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you said, there are these extra areas of contention, and of course putting that map into the middle of the rotation as well really does mix things up. Of course, the old rotation used to be that Kylo was the last map, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, yeah.
And most people have the majority of their experience fighting on Faux Fire and fighting on Forest. So by throwing in that random map in the second game, even if the team that lost the first game shouldn't necessarily be able to beat the top team, the team that beat them, there is a chance for them to sort of throw a spanner in the works and beat them on a slightly different map with some amazing new strategy. As we're about to get the splits over.
We are indeed. So, Forest of Niflheim is going to be our third map. We're just going to have a look at these teams coming out now. You can see blue and red crossing as well. Are we going to see the early stealth? We're actually going to see, I'm seeing a staff coming out from Yana there. We're seeing a Bunker Guardian play here with the altruistic healing, also with the staff, of course, mace and offhand shield. Back to the old school, we saw this played by someone recently as well. I can't remember who it was actually, but they've gone for even more bunkerage. And I think the DPS Guardian, really, you know, we've just gone for the pain train now. That's it. So much sustain from these guys, so much condition removal as well. Is it going to help?
I mean, in terms of condition removal, they're up against the Shout Warrior, and they didn't have too much team condition removal themselves, because they had to have the Ellies with their cleanse. But it's really, really nice to have that Root of the Trooper on one of your teammates. And now they do have it. They have it available on Jaina. So she's going to be able to do a lot of the cleansing and a lot of the just sort of...
Hey, it's called Trooper in World. I was like, Trooper? What's that? Soldier, yeah.
Oh,
because it's called different something else. It's fine. No. I did remember it. That was actually called something else. So I'm actually quite proud of myself. Tiki's going to go into the downstate over on the mid. So that's a big cooldown already being used, negated over on that point. We are going to see the decap happening and the kill on Zurich over on the Henge. Argineer winning that fight. Must have been +1. I did just miss that actually as we went over towards the mid. Arthur Panda now stealthing up and going to mid. So now this is very TCG-like, almost trying to go for a third point, or old school TCG. But now they're actually going to start to distance themselves as well from this point. The prototype is going to start to come back up the top, but I think that was a bit of a bad move, and he's actually going to have to get out there quite quickly, using his heal and combination of Death Shroud to get out quite quickly.
Arjun is dropping pretty low, but Tiki's here with the backup, and like you said, that cooldown was taken out, so he does have that banner available, and he does have even more backup from Alpha Panda. So we're going to see the portal, and we're probably going to see them jump through, although no one's gone through it yet. Frostball's popped it, and there hasn't been anyone come through. I don't know where he's dropped it on the other side. Maybe it was actually too far, and they intended to back out. Either way, they're going to rotate a lot of people over here towards the Henge, and I think it's a 4v3 in favour of BigD across them. I know it's a 4v3 in favour of Asda's, actually. So they should be able to take this. Obviously, blue kiting up this this side bit an awful lot, just trying to get away from the damage and rotating who was on point perfectly well. And of course, there is Jaina right on point. Going to hold off for as long as possible. As we see the fight rotating to the high ground up here. Alpha Panda getting taken out by Zurich and Frostball. Nice combination by the two there.
Actually surprised that he lasted that long. His movement was good to get out of that, but in the end I think he just stayed there for a little bit too long, and because he's very susceptible to that damage, especially now, you know, he needed to be out of there a bit quicker. We are going to see red team start to move. Now this is very 855 HP monks. As soon as they start to lose that fight over on one point, they'll move instantly to the next. And even though that seems kind of obvious, it's kind of only just been cleared up over there, and to be fair, it's still going on. But Prototype is really out of position here. He's just advanced over towards a fight that's already been over, and he was just killed not long ago, actually, almost in exactly the same spot. But luckily for him, Frostball's gone into the down state, but the Prototype's going to be cleaved out, and he's going to be rallied. So we're going to see these guys advance over towards the mid, and potentially thinking about the defense of the mine point as well.
Yeah, they're going to cross over here and actually catch out Sakura as he drops instantly. That's the massive burst damage coming out from Alpha Panda, who does get just cleaved down.
Oh, so God.
Going in a bit too deep there and trying to cleave the body as much as possible, but then just eating a whole load of AoE damage. They didn't even have a target on him. He was invisible for most of that duration and just ends up dropping from the pure damage coming out from, I think it was a combination of Frostball and Zuik perhaps. Oh no, Zuik's fighting on another point. It must have been to Jaina then.
Yeah, we guess actually Frostball did a nice job of using his portal there, but unfortunately the other end of the portal was right near some turrets, so he got a nice bit of burning in the face right there. So unfortunately he's going to jump back through that and get back to the henge. Now we have got Zuik over on the mine at the moment. Not sure why, if I'm honest. I know he's going 1v1, but he's also got Artful Panda there, so that's a point. You know, Artful Panda's just come in and actually does some nice damage on him to put him under a bit of pressure, but he's going to go get the decap at mid. They know where everyone is. The Prototype's low over on the henge point. He's in the down state, but so is Arzi. They can come on, drop a little tiny bit of a res on him and think about going for the down on Arzi or just cleave him. He's standing right there. Oh, but Frostball goes down as well, so no cleave is available. And they're going to get the res and actually switch that up. I'm very surprised that Blue didn't take advantage of that.
Seeing as that was a Lich form popped by Prototype, which was instantly countered out by a Mower. He got mowed and burst down in seconds. And then there wasn't enough cleave. There wasn't even a safe stomp or anything to make sure he stayed down. And I'm very, very surprised that they managed to get up there and bring him back up. That was fantastic play from Asda's. Making sure that they keep Prototype, who of course doesn't have too much defense of his own, as we've been saying, especially when mowed, and keeping him alive and keeping this fight alive on this point. And of course now with that extra damage, they're going to be able to clean that one up. So they've won that point, and they do still have mid as well. So
that's a
in fact they have a 3-cap.
3-cap. We've seen Blue lose it a little bit here, and actually Zuik in the end over on the mine. Okay, he's still there. Why were two people kind of... They nipped because they lost that player over on the mine, red team, and then they went over to mid and got that decap. Slowly they kind of lost it. They had the numbers disadvantage, and this is kind of direct proof of how important it is to get those kills and how things can change up so quickly. Now we can see that, you know, red team have just powered ahead with that 3-cap. Okay, they've started to lose nodes, but as blue team starts to respawn, they don't want to think too much about overcommitting, and that's what they're starting to do now. They're pulling out of the far node now. They're coming back over from the henge to mid. They're just going together, you know. Those guys can sustain and survive and get back to midpoint, try and bunker that up as the DPS try to clear up some of the blue team, although blue team has started to recover actually quite well. Although Zuik a little bit out of position here. Look, blue team members just leave him in the wind. Oh, he's not going to be happy about that, surely. I can imagine what's going on TeamSpeak.
Yeah, just as you were saying about how it's so important to get people down, I think you affected Asda's there with a little bit of Caster's Curse, as they did manage to just res Jaina up, and that's why the henge point was never full capped by red, because they just had a nice rotation over and they just picked him straight back up and got straight back to doing what they do, and that's why they were grouped up nicely for the rotation mid. But then we saw Zuik drop down very, very quickly. Of course, the nice portal play, and it worked this time. Zuik was able to mist-form through that portal, get rezzed up, and now they're going to go for the reportal. Arzi's already dropped right on top of that crate. Nice crate by Arjanair there to hold him, even though you knew he was in his SR, but he's going to get the res. Of course, the SR managing to hold them in stealth and give Zuik the easy res, as they managed to bring out Artful Panda. That was Arzi showing him that he can do just as well as he can. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, he's been a bit flashy there with his legendary as well. Really suckering it home. But we are going to see over on the mid, quite really offensive from blue. They need to get this decap as soon as possible. They're going for full damage onto Tiki here, who's going to go down. Or not. He's just going to go very low. Oh my good lord.
He does play very early though. He probably should have held that for an extra bit of cleanse, but he does have the support coming from Arjanair, using that heal and that blast right on top of Tiki to just get him up. And of course he does have that leap available, and he's going to be out of there. So Tiki just proving what a Shoutbow is capable of in terms of survival, going down to I think it was 134 health.
Yeah.
And still getting out just perfectly alive with a little bit of help from Arjanair.
Yeah, that's good, and that's what exactly what it needed. If he didn't come over and even supply some kind of healing or support, he would just completely lost out there, and you know, blue team could have flipped it up. But you're going to hear a phone coming out from my side, and you're going to continue.
Yeah, as we see Prototype, he was left to hold this node alone. Of course, blue team just managed to roll straight over top of him, and they're going to leave him to bleed out. So that's one member of the red team pain train completely out of here. And Artful Panda was also left on the henge to hold. A very, very nice rotation from Knight is going to be allow him to hold that instead of Artful Panda. And Artful Panda is going to be able to go on the offensive here on Sakura. Sakura's dropping very low. He's trying to hide behind this pillar, but Artful Panda's right behind him, just laying in those number ones. Zuik's going to go for the res, but against Artful Panda, is that really the best idea? He's just going to keep spamming that one and making sure you go down, while Knight gives him the healing and the cleansing just to keep him going. Zuik decides it's not the best idea to heal Sakura's now, and he's going to try and 1v2 on this point. Maybe not the best idea, seeing as they don't even have the decap. Sakura's is going to come onto point now, but they are going to clean up both of the elementalists here. Maybe a bit of a misplay from Zuik there. As soon as Sakura has gone down, I think he should have just left that point.
A couple of those moments where you're just kind of wondering, I'm not too sure about this rotation or the situation you're currently in, and that definitely seems to be the case. I did miss that. Obviously, I literally had to like throw the phone out of the door because it would not stop. It was horrible, and so I did just miss that. So apologies for not catching all the action there. I caught the end of it, but yeah, that looked pretty cool as I was, you know, throwing my phone out the door. But anyway, we're going to continue with this fight. But to be fair, you know, it looks pretty solid for Red Team. They've got the down of Frostball almost as well. Arzy's low. He can't go in for the res, and he actually goes down himself. So as the kills come out over onto the blue team, it's not looking too good. And to be honest, I feel like they have too much. They have too much support. They have two elementalists going full dagger. Okay, they've got a Pakru in there. Actually, let's just double check that. Let's double check. Sakuraz, yes. They know it's over, obviously 490. They're just waiting for the time to tick out. But I would have actually preferred to see Dirty Yana playing DPS Guardian still. I actually think they would have done better.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Even though they now have as many Celestials as Asdas do, Asdas of course have access to Tiki, who can put out a little bit of damage, but of course has very insane team sustain. And because he has such great team sustain, they have Argineer on an Engineer, who, yes, is Celestial, but can definitely dish out that damage. And we saw that happen right at the end there. I don't know if you caught it on the Mind Point. Also, the Vampirism Rooms coming in very, very handy. As Argineer was about to go down, Frostball went balls deep on him and procced the Vamp Runes. Frostball then lost all of his health instantly. Because, of course, Argineer was able to use all of his tool belt skills while in Mist form. And Frostball just sort of collapsed. And that was the end of the fight on Mind Point, and the end of that match, and the end of this entire sort of setup here. The semi-finals are now over. We are going to be seeing Asdas go through to face Red Team in the grand finals of the ESL Weekly Cup number 73.
Are you still calling it Asdas? Like yes, calling it Asdas, like someone who actually shops at Asda. I love it. I love it.
Exactly.
Every time I was like, oh, I need some ready meals, man. Those sausage and mash £1 ready meals, they're awesome. I remember those when I was a student. It was a long time ago. I can just about remember it. Okay, so like Divox said, we are going to go to a quick break before we go to the finals. I hope you're enjoying this show this evening. Thank you for joining us for the ESL Weekly Cup. We are going to see a great final now. It's going to be some new and different names as well, mixing it up. We'll be back with you in the next 5 minutes or so. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Jarvis.